Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning teachers. Good morning Ma'am Ruth. So I am Louis P. Gulan. I am assigned to discuss about the controlled to free approach. Okay, so before anything else, I would like you to stretch your body first. So you do not need to stand up. You just stay on your seats. So let's start on stretching our neck. So we'll just have only 8 sets each. So let's start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then reverse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then let's proceed to our shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in reverse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then a little twist of your body on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then reverse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then shake your body. Shake them, shake. Okay, so that's it. I hope now that you are relaxed. So let's proceed to our lesson proper. Okay, the content of this topic will be about the introduction of controlled approach and free approach, then the application of each, and the conclusion as to how these approaches help the delivery of the lessons better. It could be in English or in any other disciplines. So for the introduction, the controlled approach is an important approach also in writing. So it is because it offers different practices and drills that would allow the students to sharpen their skills. However, this is not only applicable in English subjects but as well as with the other disciplines. Okay. Okay, so what is a controlled approach? So controlled approach and controlled writing is also known as guided writing or guided approach, wherein there is a tradition for a long time in English as second language in classrooms that allows the students to exercise and practice their skills. So it's still considered as an effective tool, according to Silva in 1990s, in helping learners put words down on paper. So there is also a proponent of this one named Rames in 1983. He stated that unlike free writing, controlled writing takes place when learners are supplied with a great deal of the content or form, such as an outline to complete, a paragraph to manipulate, a model to follow, or a passage to continue. So basically, the controlled approach, this is like a foundation. This is like the philosophy of essentialism, wherein students must be able to understand first the basics, the technicalities, and as well as um, the details of the techniques, so that when they're going to progress in the next level of their skill, they have already their knowledge with them. Okay. So controlled practice activities refer to activities that are restricted in nature, where the focus is on developing accuracy rather than fluency. So these include repetition. So repetition in a way wherein students are being exposed to repeating the skills or repeating the activities or like a drill in order for the students um, to practice and to be able to inculcate in their minds or in their understanding the different techniques. Another one is scaffolding. So this is in a way wherein teachers or experts or their classmates wherein there is a you know, guided practice, or there is a support with another person to the other in order to um, put a step by step, improvement onto someone. So this is also a very important one that will enable the students to develop their skills. Another one is specific target language focus. So, of course, in the controlled practice, this is more on the idea of the language. So, in language, there are certain rules that you're going to follow, especially in English. So, in this way, there would be a specified details as to what are the things or what are the goals to be accomplished. Okay, so we have here a note. So although controlled practice activities might appear similar in form to some receptive comprehension questions, guided discovery, and noticing activities, example like multiple choices or matching activities, they still have a different focus and a goal. Why? It's because in controlled practice, this is developing in focus on the techniques, on the technicalities, on the standards, on the basics. So this is the main focus of the controlled practice. So that in the next activities that the students will be engaging on, they would have already their knowledge. So they could apply this one in this particular situation, in these instances, and so on. With regards to the freer practice activities are focused on fluency rather than accuracy and are less restricted than controlled practice ones. It's because in the fluency, this is now letting the students create with more freedom regarding on what they wanted to write. For example, in writing, what they wanted to express in the writing. Unlike on the controlled practice wherein it focuses on the accuracy, on the accurate standards of a technique or of a rule. Okay, so we have here an example. I have chosen the subject-verb agreement. So I have noted here the 4 rules only, the basic rules, which we usually encounter in grammar. Actually, there are 21 rules in subject-verb agreement, but I am only highlighting these 4. So we have the first one. Subjects and verbs must agree with one another in number, singular or plural. The second one, indefinite pronouns, such as someone, anyone, no one, anybody, somebody, nobody, one, either, neither, usually take a singular verb, so depending on the construction of the sentence. The third one is that nouns used with a quantifier like some, any, all, most can be singular or plural. This depends on whether the noun is countable or uncountable. The last one is after a subject joined by either or neither, nor or not only, but also the verb agrees with the subject nearest to it. Okay, so I have here some examples of this. So, for example, Anna sings the birthday song. So our subject here is Anna, and the verb now is sings. So since our subject is singular, our verb must also be singular. So they must agree with each other, and vice versa. So usually, our singular noun doesn't have an S, or our plural noun um, might contain an S. And if it's a singular noun, the singular verb must also be singular, so it should have an S. So like this one. Anna is singular, then the verb is singular. So you must have an S on a verb to determine this is singular and it agrees with the subject. Okay, this is only one of the basic ng mga one of the basic rules or the first rule in the subject verb agreement. Okay, let's proceed to the different controlled practice of subject-verb agreement. So the following examples are roughly organized from being more restricted to less restricted. So meaning, I am now starting on a more strict approach up to the lesser strict approach in subject-verb agreement. So there are different ways wherein you could use the controlled practice in English or in other disciplines, but this time let's focus on English. So we have here the first one, the drilling. So drilling, it refers to an oral repetition of specific TL. Okay. So for example, we have here the model and drill. So it could be the teacher who are going to the teacher the ones who are going to read something or to read a sentence, or whether the students can watch a video or they could listen to an audio clip models, and afterwards the student will repeat. So for example, we have here the teacher will read the following sentences. So we have here the following sentences. So she is very angry. They are all going out. Mark and Jane are both good students. Then the students repeat. So in this technique, the teacher must see to it that the the set of sentences that he or she is going to read aloud must be correct. So it must be critically, um, um, thought of so that the students will avoid confusion. Okay, sometimes the students will compare what they have understood from the teacher to the other situation. So by the time that the students are being repeated on practicing this set of sentences, it would be registered in their mind that these are the correct sentences and these are the correct application of this rule. And by the time that the student will encounter other sentences and the student might feel that that sentence is wrong, there will be a what they call this one, a recalling of information from what they have understood from the teacher. So for example, um, Anna are very angry. So this is the new encountered sentence of a student, for example. Then the student would try to analyze that there might be something wrong or there's something wrong with this sentence. So he would try to go back on the lesson that he attended to. So Mato, he would try to compare the two sentences. So he would analyze that the sentence which he encountered is wrong based on what he learned from the teacher on a previous lesson. So that is why it's a very critical nga kanang instance that the teacher must um, give correct sentences or sentence construction only to the students. Okay, so the teacher could give different sentences or could repeat this one or in any way that it would allow the students to repeat it again and again. And I'm not referring to the actual sentence, but I'm referring to the repetition of the rules so that it would register to the minds of the students. Then the next one is we have the picture passing. So students will pass pictures or visual stimulus around. So for example, the teacher will pass around a picture and students are tasked to formulate sentences based on the image using the rule of subject-verb agreement and mark whether singular or a plural. So the students each student will give their answer. So for example, we have here this example as our this picture as our basis on giving out our sentences. So we have here an example. The boy is measuring. So this is a singular. So it could be answered orally by the students, or it could be in a form of writing or ibang i-list down. So this is an important approach also. It's because it would allow the students to formulate sentences out of what they have seen. So the pictures that you are going to pass around must show a situation or a scene wherein the students could think um, as a situation out of what they have seen on the picture. So for example, this one, it offers different ideas. So the the boy is biting the pencil. So the boy is now working on his table. So there are different ways that this picture could be interpreted and described. So that's it. The next one is the bingo. So students get handed a sheet of different vocabulary items, sounds, or grammar points, and the students will try and get the bingo in a horizontal, in a vertical, or a diagonal on their worksheet based on what the teacher calls out. So most of us were already familiar with the bingo nga, the card. So, however, for this bingo card, for this approach, it would be a different one. You should improvise. The teacher should be creative on this one. So, the usual bingo, um, there are letters on at the top and below are numbers. So every time that the host will call a number, the participant will crush the number out. Okay, with a goal or with an aim to complete a straight or diagonal or horizontal nga line on the bingo card. However, for this one, the teacher could use a crossword nga puzzle. So if you could remember or if you have encountered already an exam wherein there is a crossword, if you have used this one in your exam, it would be a better one wherein there are different words or other different letters, um, mixed together. And every time you read a sentence and there is a blank there, so the students will try to guess what is the correct answer of that sentence, and they are going to find it in their bingo card and encircle it, or they could crush it out. So we have here for the grammar for the bingo. So the teacher reads out the sentence and students have to mark which grammar point corresponds with the sentence. So in every correct answer, the students then clip each hole of the card. So for example, the teacher will read this sentence, May blank a spoiled child. So what could be a better, answer to supply this sentence? So it could be is. So May is a spoiled child. May is a spoiled child. So the students will try to find the word is on their bingo card and crush it out. So the teacher could give only or could limit words that would award someone as a winner. So for example, there are only 10 words. So after a student will finish 10 words, will receive an award or will win the game or in the bingo. Okay, that's it. So the next one, we have the crossword. So for example, a clue number 6 down, an animal that goes moo. So the crossword, so this is just this is the usual, type of exam that we are using um to test our students. So we could have the crosswords. It could be done in a group, um in a group or by team, or it could be by pair, or it could be an individual. So you are going to give clues. So for example, like this one, an animal that goes moo. So the students will try to put the letters on each box, completing the word cow until they have finished all of the boxes. That's it. So the teacher for this one, since we are now focusing on subject verb agreement, will give sentences that would allow the students to guess um, what are the correct answers under the blank. Okay, so for the another crossword information gap, so one student has a half of the crossword puzzle answers and the other student has the other half. So in this game, it could be played by pair only. So this is divided into two, into half. Then both students knew the answers already, half of each. So they're going to compete each other. They're going to play the game we're in by giving clues. So they're already given sentences and they're going to give clues to each other and they're going to try to guess what is the correct answer on each puzzle. Then for the matching, so it refers to an activity where students match one item with another. So this is very familiar to all of us. We have been using this one in our exams. So this is just a simple matching type, but you could improvise or you could um, um, put other elements for this one. So we have here on the column A the set of questions, and in the column B the options to be matched with the sentences. Then another one is that the game winner stays standing. So this is just a very simple game. So two students stand up from their classroom seats. The teacher reads out or shows a clue. Then the first student to answer correctly stays standing, while the other one sits down. Then another student stands up to take the place of the previous round's loser and then play again. Whoever answers accurately the quickest gets to keep standing. So it's just simple. The teacher will read out a sentence or will read a fill in the blank sentence or question. Then the first student to raise their hand and to give out the correct answer will stay standing. Then another student, or then it also challenges the rest of the students in a classroom until only one player will stay standing all throughout the game. Okay, so this one, read a clue, teacher reads a clue. Example, Marvin tries to advance in the game. Okay, another one is the fill in the blank. So this is also one of the common assessment that we have been using or activity. So fill in the blank refers to an activity where there is a block of text either in sentence or paragraph form with blanks in them. So the students have to write or choose the correct answer to fill in the blanks. So we have here different types of fill in the blanks. So we have here the two options. So we have here an example. I blank went or have been to the store yesterday. So students will circle the correct option. Another one, Mark cry or cries because of heartbreak. So the students will just only to underline or will encircle the correct answer. So this is a way of controlling the students to a more specified options. So this is a best example of a restricted activity um, in writing or in correcting their skills or their knowledge in grammar, specifically in subject verb agreement. So um, this is cornering. This is like cornering the two correct and or the two possible answers. Then another one is the no options. The students are presented a text either in sentence by sentence or paragraph form with blanks, and the students have to produce the correct answer. So we have here a fill in the blank with no options. So the cat's blank across the river. Okay, the students will supply the correct answer for this sentence. Another one is sentence reordering. So this is a way wherein words are presented out of order and the students have to reorder them appropriately. So they're going to arrange with the given um, words already. So we have here two, yesterday I store went. So the answer, I went to the store yesterday. So the students will just have to arrange the words to form a sentence. Then sentence completion. The students get presented with a certain amount of information, leaving some blanks for them to complete with their own answers. So their own personal information or opinion, etc. So you can notice no nga, as we progress in our topic and the different techniques, we notice that um, the students are now getting more freedom, and and it has been only a lesser restrictions provided in each of the techniques. So it's because this is an aim that would allow the students to move from restricted way of writing, or from a restricted approach to a more freer practice, or to a freer practice. So we have here an example. So I was born in blank. So the students would just think of any things, or it could be their actual, born place, or birthplace rather. Then I work at blank. Then I have been studying English for blank years, etc. Okay, so that's it. Then the sentence formation. So in this activity, students will form their own complete sentences either orally or in written form. So from scaffolding device, have a scaffolding device where students choose from different columns to form sentences and perhaps have to add additional information. So we have here a box with the different words wherein students can choose what to use and what to add. So for example, we have here I, you, we, like, hate, would like to, skydive, scuba dive, basketball, because, although, however. So um, there are already sets of starting words, or starting a sentence where students will just have to add additional information for this to complete. So this is for the sentence formation. Then we have another one technique for this one is we have the reply. So students will have to reply with the correct response. So for example, for the restricted, have you been having a nice day? So their answer, yes, I have been. So there is a specified answer for this one. Then we have also an open-ended. So what do you like to do on the weekends? So answers will vary. So it means it offers a more personal, um, response for the open-ended. Then describing pictures. So for the visuals, the students will write about what about a visual or visuals. So what they have seen, they're going to write something on what they have seen on a specific picture, or it could be portrayed in a media or on a screen. An information gap. There are two pictures with different information in them. The students will write sentences about the differences of the two pictures. So the teacher will provide two pictures with almost the same elements on the illustration. And the students will try to spot the differences, and they are going to write this one, or they're going to do this one by formulating sentences. So for example, the subject-verb agreement, they're going to use the rules of the subject-verb agreement in comparing the two pictures. Then comic strip, the students will write sentences based on a series of visuals in a comic strip. So teachers can find, or can research comic strip wherein there are no conversations yet. So only the characters and the setting, and um, let the students formulate the conversation on each characters. So you will be surprised on how imaginative our students are. Then finally, on the essay writing, this is now on the free approach. So students are tasked to create an essay on a certain topic with lesser restrictions. So this time, Since okay, um, from this point, the teachers are the ones who are knowledgeable, whether how far or um, how effective the students were able to understand the techniques, the rules of the subject-verb agreement. So by the time that the teacher will successfully evaluate or assess his or her students and found out that they are now ready for a more free approach or for a freer approach, so the teacher now can employ the essay writing on his or her competency. So no, take note that for the free approach, this is now focusing on the fluency. So this is now allowing the students to think more and to apply more words or terminologies in the writing. However, it doesn't mean that when you're only focusing on the fluency, you're going to forget the accuracy. But the accuracy will always be on the system. So always inculcate to our students that the knowledge of the basics and the foundation is a must before continuing or progressing to the next level. Okay, so I think that's all. Those are the things that I could share with you on the idea of controlled approach to free approach. So again, the importance of controlled approach, it's because to let the students um, um, it will let the students to expose themselves on the techniques, on the rules of a certain lesson. So especially in subject verb agreement. So this is a basic one that the students should understand in order for them to formulate sentences correctly later on their free composition or even on mga narratives. So this is very important for our students to develop first. So as what I have said earlier, it doesn't only limit to the English subjects or language subjects, but it could also be used with the other disciplines. So depending on the nature of the subject. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you have learned something. So I think that's all. Thank you, teachers, and thank you, Mamu. Bye bye.